Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pixelists. I'm Will, and today we're talking episode 11 of the Legend of Vox Machina. Gonna go over all the little details and Easter eggs you might have missed. Less Easter eggs in this episode and more just fun details and things lifted straight from the original Twitch campaign. So I'm gonna be including a lot of clips from the original campaign. So be prepared for that. And other than that, spoiler the warning, of course. And that's really all I got. Let's get into it. Alrighty, first things first, moment of silence for the Matt NPC. It has been brought to my attention that the cast revealed, I think during one of the watch parties, that they did not put Matt in every episode like I had thought, like I had hoped. So, that being said, I think it's very fair to say that he is just not in episode 10, and those extreme reaches I were making were not correct. And probably a few of the other episodes we've made slight reaches on as well. Probably the Wraith from episode 4, I believe. And then maybe the DM. Although, I mean, I think we can all agree that that definitely is spiritually Matt, if not explicitly this character model Matt. But yeah, thank you for letting me know that this is the case, because I was already struggling to find him in this episode. So God, thank you for saving me the embarrassment of the extreme reaches that were about to be made. So yeah, once again, rest in peace. Moment of silence for the Matt NPC. Was hoping he was in every episode, but you know, he just will have to remain in our hearts. All right. Okay, here we get some more Delilah chanting that I think some words are hidden in. I believe it was episode 9, maybe, where I pointed this out, where she said Ruidus, which is the name of one of the moons of Exandria. Here, she says Tharamfala, which is a reference to a city in the Shadowfell, which is another plane of existence. And slight spoilers here for like some campaign 1 stuff, but just general D&D lore. Shouldn't be anything too explicit, but wanted to give a warning. Tharamfala actually serves as Vecna's like base of operations. Vecna, aka the Whispered One, who, you know, is who the Briarwoods are trying to summon to the material plane. So it's just super cool that they're littering in these Easter eggs to her ritualistic chants. And another instance of this later in the episode. Here we have Scanlan trying to put things together, and he doesn't understand what the star charts have to do with it. And Keyleth explains it's the celestial solstice where these planes of existence line up, and they're trying to use this to summon the Whispered One. And I just think it's cool that we're getting mention of the celestial solstice once again, because in campaign 3, this celestial solstice event is also relevant. So it's just kind of cool that the timing of this show being released and things happening in campaign 3 is kind of lining up. I assume intentionally by Matt, but who knows? Okay, next up we have the silence/counterspell moments of the episode. And initially, Delilah does this to Scanlan to prevent him from casting. And later in the episode, he will do it back to her. Now, I think this just isn't a one-to-one scenario where they're, you know, showcasing from something from D&D. I believe this is effectively counterspell. They are just putting a veneer over it to make it more translatable to the animation, and so it appears more like a silence spell, because he is silenced for a few like minutes and not just, you know, this one spell he was trying to cast, whereas, you know, counterspell just serves as an immediate reaction to attempt to cancel one spell and not like a prolonged silence, if you will. I'm trying not to get too in the weeds on the description here, but the point is, I think for the purposes of the show, they're kind of combining the two, and we get this silence/counterspell, which again, using it on Scanlan here at the beginning is setting him up to use it back on her later. And Scanlan is actually known for doing some clutch counterspells throughout the campaign, so I like that they're kind of building it here in this moment, and hopefully we'll see some other moments where he can showcase this as well.
My love, we're not ready, but the timetable's been pushed. We have no choice. And she wraps her arms around him, and they both...
I cast counter spell
Okay.
as a reaction.
What's the range on counterspell?
Not again, not again! 60 feet, am I close enough?
I don't think so.
60 feet.
Oh, come on, come on.
Huh. She is in range.
Oh!
All right.
I say, shit. Yeah.
You say shit.
Do I know what she's casting? Am I familiar with it?
You're familiar with the actions about it, so you have an idea. Yes.
Do I know what level it is?
shit she did before,
You don't know what level now.
Just do the dimension door share, right?
She's
Got that?
vamping out. She said whatever. So I'll say, huh! That's the sound of the gnome fucking with your spell. yeah. And I'll cast it at level 4. Yes.
At level 4.
Yes, take this motherfucker down.
Oh no, she's gonna do it.
All right. I need you to roll.
Fuck, so it's higher than that.
She's casting it at 5th level.
What do I roll?
For this,
Oh no,
roll a
You don't have any
d20
flags.
and add your charisma bonus to it, so +5.
I'm a charismatic guy.
You are.
Yes.
Natural 20.
23.
And with that, she grasps him. The door begins to open and then flickers.
Stay.
So the counterspell was slightly different in the campaign, as you can see. Delilah and Silas were trying to teleport away to safety, but Scanlan stopped them. It was super clutch. And then here, the whole Percy versus Cassandra thing, I just really loved this dynamic and the parallel, because both Percy and Cassandra are trying to fight against a foreign influence, Cass with Silas's charm, Percy with Orthax's intent. But both are also wrestling within themselves. They just happen to have these outside entities that are pushing them one way. And so I just think this was a cool parallel, especially, both of them have their eyes flash over with this other entity. So just cool parallels on a few different levels. And then I don't think anyone missed this, but I had to point it out. Scanlan's eyes go wide and they're filled with dice with hearts on them. Now, at first I thought D20, because that is like the general D20 shape, but it does look like a 12-sided die. But 12-sided die don't look like that. So, not that anyone cares, but I think this is just a cartoonish depiction of a D20, even though it clearly does not have 20 sides. Moving on. Next up, we have this moment where Grog resists Silas's charm. And this was a moment I didn't expect to see in the show, but I'm so glad it is, because I remember this exact moment in the original campaign. And it was just so hype because it was such a tide-turning potential moment. Like, as you saw in the episode with Anders, if Grog gets charmed, he can single-handedly dismantle a lot of Vox Machina if he catches him off guard. He is the tank and the heavy damage dealer of the group, or a heavy damage dealer of the group, I should say. So this just put a huge smile on my face when they translated this moment over. But here, I'm going to include the original for you.
Glancing over at you after you've just unleashed that swing of attacks towards his wife, he goes, "You help us." Make a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
With advantage?
With advantage.
Roll.
Roll like you
High.
haven't.
Roll high.
Roll like you're Percy.
Come on.
You're not Percy.
What'd you roll?
A 4.
With advantage?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe.
What is
With that Grog now, you realize you've been on the wrong side of this battlefield the whole time, and your allies are being assaulted by individuals that claim to be your friends, but might be completely against this whole circumstance. Your allegiance switches for now to defend them at all costs. That's going to end his turn. Pike.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
I'm raging. Can I be charmed?
Oh!
That's a good notification to make. The charm effect hits your mind, and through the blind. This is why you read your abilities, guys. I don't remember all the details. So.
Best question of the night. Oh my god.
No, it's just a 6. It takes a second.
Yeah. As you see this look, you feel the influence begin to pry, but it isn't enough to push through the red blazing anger.
Yeah! That was the thin red line trap.
Yep. With that, you see the expression of intent.
Oh my god.
Sudden worry on Silas's face, ending his turn.
All right, the killing blow. This was badass and pretty true to the campaign as well. So the whole sun tree moment where Keyleth, kind of reaches out and the roots wrap around her and she is empowered, that doesn't happen in the campaign, but Keyleth does commune with the sun tree on more than one occasion in the campaign. And me, and I'm sure everyone else that watched campaign 1, is still holding out that they may show us that animated in the show, her speaking with the sun tree. So maybe season 2, we'll see. But Keyleth does sunbeam Silas just like this. She actually sunbeams him a few times in the encounter. So the first time she does, she hits Grog just like she does here. Grog isn't holding Silas like he is here in the show, but this is just an awesome way to translate the moment to the screen. And I think it has to be a Dragon Ball Z homage, because for the Piccolo, Goku, and Raditz fight, where Goku has to hold Raditz and ends up sacrificing himself so that he can get hit. I know Laura worked on DBZ. I'm not sure if anyone else in the cast did, but I wouldn't be surprised. And before I ramble too long, I just had to call this out. I think it's got to be an homage to DBZ, but just an epic moment. And in the campaign, she didn't kill Silas when she also hit Grog. It was a later sunbeam that finished him off. So I'll include that final one.
Okay.
Burn him.
So I turn and I start just shouting to the mist, and I say, "What's the matter, Silas? Afraid of little gnome and a druid?" And I just blast him with sunbeam.
That was the lamest
Thanks, I'm not good with lines. Keyleth isn't good with lines.
Afraid of a little.
Are you afraid of us? You afraid of us?
Let's workshop that
I
one.
heard Percy try to do lines, and I'm like, that's what badasses do.
Low charisma
Well,
and a
I
lot
guess-
of damage.
I guess in this particular instance, I want to ask you, how do you want to do this?
Sorry, cursed gun.
There's still a semi visible form of like his body, but in a mist form, is trying to slowly escape off of the top of this structure.
Okay, Pike is standing right next to him.
Correct.
So I'm gonna use Pike and kind of use the light that I have off of Pike and kind of combine it to do like a joint sunbeam, holy in bomb.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
He's gonna eat a bag of holy dicks. Is what you're saying, right?
Yes. I want him to eat a bag of holy dicks.
Okay.
Now explain that, please.
Okay.
Make it sound great.
So, looking over at Pike, already ready with her mace up in the air and the mist recoiling from her, you kind of glance at each other, have that connective point, and as Pike brings up her shield, you bring back your sunbeam and throw it towards the shield, arcing it in his direction as she ricochets the reflection of the actual sunlight back at him at the same time.
That was
That's
way
cool.
cooler than what you said.
Yeah, way
As-
cooler. I knew
as
he'd bring it through.
As it sprays across, the beams themselves seem to form nearly phallic rays,
Cross the stream. Cross the stream.
tearing through the mist, and with an echoing scream, you hear Silas's voice ring out as the mist is immediately dissipated and disintegrated. His form.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't look through the frames of her casting the spell, hoping to find some sort of phallic holy light or, phallic symbol hidden. I didn't, unfortunately. There were a couple stretches I could have made, but I'll spare us. Anyway, after Silas is defeated, we get one of the iconic Delilah lines from the campaign, being that I broke the world for us, or for you, which, of course, was lifted straight from the original stream.
Silas, I broke the world for us.
Looking over her shoulder, still looking at him as she's called to him to, go join in the altar room, or the ritual room, looks over and sees that he's mist form. And in slow motion from her perspective, she just sees Keyleth step forward, wind blowing around her, releasing this beam and watching him be disintegrated. Immediately her eyes open wide and she screams out, "No! Silas!" And you can see like her whole body shaking now at this point. The horror of seeing her partner, the love of her life, disintegrated before her. Tears immediately burst down her face, and her hands are shaking in there as she just screams out, "You can't! I broke the world for us! No!"
All right, next up we get this depiction of the D&D spell Prayer of Healing. This is a cleric spell that Pike is casting where you can heal multiple people at the same time. I think in D&D it's a maximum of 6 and we have 8 here, but hey, we're not nitpicking. This was just cool to see. Alrighty, next up you'll notice this symbol on the outside of the Ziggurat here, the 3 eyes. This is actually a symbol of Ioun, aka the Knowing Mistress, which I'm going to refer to her as that because they're probably going to change the name for the show. So this Ziggurat was originally a temple to the Knowing Mistress. However, a long, long time ago in Exandria's history, there was this event known as the Calamity. And I'm not going to go too deep on that, but you can Google it if you'd like to know more. But essentially, there was this evil rampaging entity known as Tharizdun that rampaged and came to where this temple was, and the fight was awful. Tharizdun badly injured Ioun and nearly destroyed her and caused this Ziggurat to sink down beneath the ground. Then Pelor comes along, who is the Dawnfather in this show, if you recall, the god that the people of Whitestone worship. Pelor came and defeated Tharizdun, and after he did that, and Tharizdun was banished, Pelor returned to this site and birthed the Sun Tree, which that's where the Sun Tree came from, and kind of tried to cleanse the evilness of Tharizdun with his own symbol of the Sun Tree directly over the temple. And ever since, Whitestone in this area has been under Pelor's protection, which is another reason why the people of Whitestone worship him. And again, they're calling him the Dawnfather in this show. But yeah, just in case you were wondering, this is kind of the history of this temple. You know, why did it just happen to be down here? And, you know, this kind of explains why the Briarwoods wanted to use this site. And, you know, they didn't create this or anything. It was just already here. And it's cursed by this, you know, evil Tharizdun's actions from long ago. But anyway, I just thought seeing the symbol here was really cool. And, you know, a good excuse to finally drop that lore that I've been wanting to.
Uthedras, Localuva, Vasa Utran Entropis.
Alright, so here we had some more ritualistic chanting, and this time you can make out the word Entropis, which Entropis is a tower in Thar-Amphala, which, again, Thar-Amphala is a city in the Shadowfell, you know, where Vecna was based out of. So Entropis is one of his, like, main bases of operation, if you will. So once again, just super cool that they decided to kind of hide these words within the chant. Super relevant, super chef's kiss. Also here, we have the symbol that I've pointed out a few times across the episodes. This is the big ritualistic symbol that was in Delilah's book that Scanlan was studying. Now, in the original campaign, there was the Hand of Vecna symbol was around this podium in this ritual. I'm assuming they changed that because they are trying to get away from Vecna, again, for copyright reasons. But it's cool that they're kind of introducing this symbol. You know, now this is the 3rd or 4th time we've seen it. So I'm assuming this is probably to replace that element of things. Perhaps we will still see the actual item / relic akin to the Hand of Vecna, but it seems like this may be the main symbol, that and the one she carves on her arm. Alrighty, next up we have, you know, Delilah casting Finger of Death at Vex, but Keyleth jumps in front of it at the last second and takes the hit and is knocked unconscious and is fighting for her life. This happened in the campaign, but it happened to Vex. Vex actually, you know, Keyleth didn't jump in front of her. Vex is the one that got obliterated by this Finger of Death. I'm going to include the clip just because it's pretty cool. But things were slightly different here, and I think they made the change from Vex to Keyleth for some reasons that I don't really want to get into because it may be spoilery, but the change makes sense to me, so I'll just leave it at that. And then just a little bit of context for this clip you're about to see. It's going to be 2 clips put together, actually. So Delilah casts Finger of Death, which is, you know, what she's using on Keyleth here, and does a ton of damage to Vex. But then Vex actually has taken a potion of flight, so she is flying, and she then falls, and that actually is what knocks her unconscious. And then, you know, the rest of the things kind of play out the same way they did with Keyleth.
All right, so
This is it. This is it.
No.
45 plus 30. 75 points of necrotic damage.
What
But
are
you
you
were
at?
at 76? Oh my
Oh
god.
my god!
Alrighty. You're at 1 hit point.
Are you fucking...
As your life force is suddenly sucked out of your body and you manage to capture what essence of your existence still holds you aloft. Drifting forward, almost toppling over in your fly spell. You, floating through the air, your flight ends.
Fuck.
You immediately plummet.
Can I cast
down.
Hold Person?
Old person.
On her?
On her?
Yes!
Just paralyzed.
If you want to, it's just gonna paralyze her.
Oh, it just I can't,
Yeah.
like, hold her?
Freeze her in place.
So at that height, it's 40 feet. You fall.
God
You
damn
take-
it.
3d6 points of damage.
Can I roll for a acrobatics? Maybe I can catch myself.
You know what? Go ahead and roll acrobatics with disadvantage.
Okay. No, or a d20 is.
Here,
Oh, here
yeah,
it
there
is.
we go.
Oh.
20, and 6.
Wait, 6.
That'll be pretty high
Acrobatics,
for you. 15.
15 acrobatics.
You take 4 points of fall damage
Oh, good.
as you slam down into the center of this.
And I'm unconscious.
You're unconscious on the ground.
That's my first time I've ever been unconscious.
Alrighty, there's a little bit more to talk about here with the campaign and compared to the show, but these next moments don't happen until the next episode, so we'll talk about it in that breakdown. But what does happen in this episode is Pike, dissipating due to the, anti-magic zone seemingly in this area. Now, this too happened in the campaign, but, the anti-magic zone was 100% a thing, but there also might have been, some technical difficulties involved.
It's at this point, as you're having this discussion, you guys are rushing down. You guys see this as you're rushing on the Ziggurat. The radiant energy that is currently the form of Pike seems to have slowly withered, and she kind of looks over her shoulder with a look of immediate fear as it.
Oh no!
No!
Creepers.
Why?
Because of technology, and
technology.
also the story.
I didn't even know she was gone.
I didn't either.
Pike,
She
no!
was being scared by
No,
it.
Pike!
It seems as if
very bad service
whatever
down here.
anti-magical aura has slowly pushed the divine connection that keeps her present from the current vicinity.
Did your computer die?
Also, the battery died on the computer.
Alrighty, y'all, that's going to do it for episode 11. I hope you enjoyed seeing all those clips. I know I've been having a great time kind of revisiting some of these old moments from the original campaign. We got one more to go. I'm sad that it's almost over, but I'll save any sappy speeches for that episode. There won't be a sappy speech. There might be. There won't. Maybe. Anyway, you can find us online at online on Twitter at the Pixelists. Definitely check us out there. We do have a Discord if you want to hang out there. And that's all I got. I'll see you in the finale.